start with a
pan.
pan
What
or a kettle
size?
that will hold at least 3 cups of milk.
Okay.
And I will measure out 3 cups of milk.
Look at that precision.
Keep talking.
And you can use 2% or 1%, whatever you want. I suppose you could even use powdered milk.
No, we don't want to do that.
No. Pour it.
You know, the video speaks for itself, what she's doing, because it's on video.
It's a
I'm not going to use extra words.
Yes, please do.
No, it's not the way I do it.
That's where I go.
Okay, so we'll put this on
Not
heat to
good
get
television.
it. And I usually put it on medium-high so I can heat it pretty fast. Would you put that in the
I will put
refrigerator,
this in the way,
please?
yes, I'm the assistant.
And to the milk, I will put 1 cube of butter.
You're slicing up the butter.
You can see that. If I slice it up like this, it melts faster.
There you go.
That makes sense.
Very good.
And
Now, will margarine work too?
you can use margarine if you want. I prefer to use butter.
Does it need to be a margarine or butter that you can cook with? Because I guess there are some margarines that are less able to be done to cook with.
Well, I prefer to use what I'm using is Smart Balance because it doesn't have any trans fats
Right.
and it's healthier. So then I measure, you can buy this in cubes also, but I don't have it in cubes now, so I'll just measure out a ½ cup to equal 1 cup of butter, margarine, whatever in the recipe.
Well, you just put a cube of butter in there. I'm confused already.
But she
That's a half
a cup.
That's a ½ cup.
1 cube is
So
equal to
now
½ a cup.
I
Okay.
said the
So we need
total
1
of
cup.
1 cup.
Okay.
Now I have to ask, because we had the different measurement levels, so on the 1½ dozen said 2/3 cup and 3 dozen says 3. Does that mean there's more butter coming later?
No, this is all the butter that you will need.
Okay, so we're somewhere between 1½ and 3 dozen.
On
amount?
this recipe, well, yeah, depending upon how much milk you use.
So
Okay.
what are you doing
So
now?
if you use 2 cups of milk, you won't use as much. You can use 2/3 cup of butter or margarine.
But we did 3 cups of milk.
We did 3 cups of milk, so we're
This is for
using
you. I'm
1
just
cup.
filming.
And I use a ½ cup of butter and ½ cup of margarine.
Got it. Okay, I'm just gonna write down specifically.
Yeah, see, she's already making
Yeah, she's-
adaptions.
That's right.
See,
Well, like I told you before, I never follow the recipe the same every time I do it. Some of it just comes by,
Skill.
okay, now this has to melt.
do you have that turned on?
Yes, I have it turned on. In
Oh,
fact,
you
I'll
see
turn it
the-
on to high just to
you see
get it
the-
going faster.
Okay.
I usually don't put it on high, but
Okay.
and while that's stewing, I'm going to turn my oven on to warm.
So.
To get my
okay.
oven warmed up
To preheat it.
so that I have a place where I can put the dough and it will rise faster.
Oh, I see.
In the wintertime, your surface area room
Yeah.
isn't quite warm enough
Right.
to make it work faster. So I usually just warm up the oven and stick it in there. Then while that's getting hot, I start measuring out my flour.
Any kind of flour?
I prefer to use bread flour.
Better for bread flour.
Yeah, Gold Medal puts it out, there's some other, and it's unbleached. At least for 2/3 of the recipe. Some people use it for all of it. I measure 3 cups in my bowl.
Yeah, there you go. Put it
And I will have a 4th cup ready.
You put 3 in the bowl and have a
Yeah,
4th
and I have
ready.
a 4th ready, so when I put the liquid mixture in there, that I can
And you can start sprinkling.
put it in. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'll get some yeast.
Some yeast.
Frozen yeast.
Yeah, any kind of yeast.
Is it,
Do you keep it in the freezer all the time?
Yes.
Oh,
I'll show you what kind of yeast I use.
Breakthrough for the commercial break.
Commercial.
Safe Instant.
Turn it this way so the camera can see it. Thank you.
she's gotta read it first.
Oh,
And this is, it's an import, I guess, I don't know. But anyway, this kind I like to use.
All
It
my
makes
stock in that.
It's pressure sealed, so when you open it up, you get 2 pint out here. And I keep it in the freezer so that it'll stay longer.
Where do we find that kind of yeast, honey?
I get this at Smart and Final.
Smart and Final, that's right. Okay.
And if they don't have it, there was another place that I saw that they had it. I don't remember
We
where
used to
it
get
was.
from, some yeast from the college too.
I used to, but I can't, that's not a source for me anymore.
Okay.
okay, what?
So then I put almost 2 tablespoons of that in there. This back in the, and I sort of mix that in with this flour.
You're doing great, Mary.
Now, when this is melted, I add a tablespoon of salt, and 3 tablespoons of sugar. Make sure all the, everything is melted, quite melted. Now after this is melted, then we have to cool it down. So we'll take a little break, and I'll try to cool it down faster by putting it in cold water.
So do you specifically have to wait for the butter to be melted before you add it?
Before I add the sugar and the salt, not necessarily, I wait till it's almost melted.
Okay.
And sometimes I have it all melted, but at least I put it in there to dissolve in the liquid instead of putting it with the flour.
So did you lower that or lower the milk temperature?
Yeah,
Turn it off.
I turned it off because
Turn it off.
it's already melted and everything. I'm just gonna leave it there for a minute and while I get, let's see.
So I can put a big red flag, do not boil milk, right?
No, I
Yeah.
don't boil it. It's supposed to be scalded, that's why I'm leaving it on just a little bit more. I usually just put this in my sink to cool it off.
oh, I see. But normally you would just
Normally, I don't.
just let
I
it sit.
don't.
You just let it sit on the stove and let it
Yeah,
cool down.
I just take it off the burner and just let it cool down, which takes anywhere from 30, 45 minutes, depending on the surface temperatures.
You're wanting it to get to a temperature that,
Yeah, you want it,
Holds the
you don't
yeast,
want
right?
it cold, you want it warm enough, just a little bit
More than room
hotter, A
temperature?
little bit warmer than warm.
Yeah,
With this yeast, it doesn't hurt to have it just a little bit hotter
yeah.
than lukewarm. So I'm gonna put that in cold water now, just
Just
to
to
get it
speed up the
cooled off
process a little bit. Sure.
When your liquid mixture is cooled
Okay.
to lukewarm or just slightly warmer than lukewarm.
So it's not room temperature, but it's warmer than,
Yeah,
Temperature,
right.
well, you had it in the
I
Yeah,
always
we got
said
it all
was
figured out.
approximately 100.
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, maybe a little bit more than 100 degrees. You pour that into your 3 cups of flour and you mix it. I use a whisk
I have one of
because
those.
that gets all the lumps out.
And is it important to get all the lumps out?
Yes, it is. Very important. You want smooth dough.
I really like that wide bowl too, that bowl is a nice one for working.
Yeah.
This is wonderful because you can do everything in the bowl. You don't have to put your dough out on a breadboard. So you whisk that till it's smooth, and then you add another cup of flour.
That's the
And it's not important to sift it.
No, this is all pre-sifted.
Okay.
Um,
Not quite as stiff as peppermint dough.
No, and this is, when I get through mixing this with the whisk, I'll take the whisk out because it gets too hard to stir it. But
You can use an electric mixer.
well, if you have a strong enough one, yes. Then I go back to my spatula and I will add, that was 4 cups of flour. Two more cups,
How many?
5, 6,
One. That's 3.
And they need to be level, or, yeah, close.
just close to it.
Close to
because
level.
Yeah. Yeah, I usually don't put all of it in at one time now because I start just working it into the dough, so.
Yeah.
You can use a regular spoon too, or a wooden spoon if you want, but I like to use this because it cleans the bowl off better.
Has anybody ever made this recipe using a bread machine?
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know if this recipe, but I know I've heard of some that have put it in a bread machine till it's ready to form.
Yeah, just to mix it, not to cook
Yeah,
it.
just to mix it.
Do you have a bread machine?
I do.
You can even make your, cut your recipe in half, your two cup.
Yeah, because that would be a little too much for a bread machine, the amount.
Yeah, take your 2 cup recipe and so this is just a process of working the flour into
Sure.
the dough.
Smells great.
Isn't it though? You're starting to get that smell.
This is actually a 2 dozen, by the time we're done with the dough, it's a 2 dozen.
Oh, you think so? Don't you remember your grandmother saying if you eat too much dough, your stomach will
Yeah, something like
Swell
that.
up, yeah.
swell up? Or
Stick together.
I was willing
I
to
don't
risk
think that
it.
stopped Warren.
No.
So this is
Well, I know Paul
7.5
and Philip
cups.
liked to eat the dough when I was making the cinnamon rolls, and I'd have a little bit of brown sugar and cream and
Well, yeah.
Well, there is something
And-
called, the Schnecke, is that what it is, that's left over?
No, but I don't make schnitzel with Zwieback dough.
Oh, you don't use that sweet
No,
dough
I
for
use
that?
pie dough for that.
Oh, that's what it is. I got my doughs mixed up.
Is this 7.5?
This is 7 right here.
Yeah.
That's the seventh cup of
That's
flour.
7
So
cups.
what's this 5 cups? Is that 2 dozen?
That's for the 2
Yeah,
cup,
that's the lesser
That's
recipe.
the lesser.
2 cup liquid. I'm gonna get my 8th cup ready here. I
Ready.
probably won't use that much.
And how are you supposed to know how much to put in?
It's
By
by-
the feel.
By the feel. And
Hence
what's,
the video.
what's the feel that you're looking for?
I'll
He'll
get to
describe
that,
it.
I'll get to that
Oh,
when I
okay.
get that far. At this point, this gets a little bit hard to work with the spatula, so we'll use our hands.
I was waiting for that part.
Oh, that's where the hands come in.
See, this is the secret part, the hands.
Uh-huh.
How you work it with the hands.
That's the secret ingredient.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing a hook mixer would work well with this, one of those.
Don't a lot of your your mixers that have, are heavy enough to do bread or doughs, they
Yeah.
have a hook.
Right,
Yeah.
I imagine that would,
Instead of the beaters.
right.
And instead of putting this out on a breadboard, I just
Well, yeah, it
have
keeps
a
it
bowl
nice and
that's
neat.
big enough that I can contain all of that and just do it right in the bowl.
But you can put it onto a breadboard.
Yeah, you can put this all on the breadboard, flour breadboard.
It makes a mess too.
Isn't that what Grandma used to do?
Yep.
Yeah,
She put it on a breadboard?
I don't think she had a bowl this size.
No, no,
for that.
she would knead it on the breadboard and then put it back in the bowl to let it rise.
She punched that thing.
Oh, she beat it up.
Yeah.
That's
Because
the,
I've got that bowl.
That's how she dealt with us grandkids being around. She'd have to go punch her dough.
oh, did you see that? She was testing.
It's too sticky.
Yeah, when you put your finger into it and you pull back, if it sticks to your finger, you need more dough, right?
More flour.
Or more flour.
Was that your
Just
test?
A little bit at a time. Well, part of it. Part of it is also, when you get it to a point where you can
Oh, there it is.
punch it like this and it springs back. I don't know if you can see
Okay,
that.
get a close up on the spring back.
You punch it like that and it springs back and it doesn't leave a big dent. It's
That means what?
pretty much that it's done.
Well, that it's done.
Yeah, that it's
the right mix.
I don't need to have any more flour into it.
Now, if you put more flour after you get that
Sometimes-
spring back,
What happened?
what happens? Yeah.
You get
Well,
biscuits.
you get a dough or get a Zwieback that's dry. It isn't so moist. And another thing I sometimes use to test it is if I take some like this and just form a Zwieback. And if it seems like it has enough so that it doesn't run or get too flat, but it keeps its shape,
Yeah.
that's another way. I'm gonna add just a little bit more, just,
That looked a little sticky.
Yeah.
well, it will be a little sticky, but it's not as sticky as it was before.
So when you say a little bit, you're talking about a little bit.
You
I
You
said
just
sprinkle.
finally,
You
I mean,
just kinda
you
sprinkle
only
it.
learn that with doing it time and time again and getting the,
I'm hoping I'll learn it by watching the video time and time again. Instead of waiting for like 25 years of
you
experience.
may have beginner's luck. No, I should have you get it. It's because you just, I don't think, see, I've used almost 7.5, maybe 7.25 cups of flour. Yeah, this feels pretty good. Spank.
Sounds ripe.
Are you listening for something?
Nope. Yeah, it's just routine. I mean, it's just something I like to do.
Well, that's
It
important.
makes
We
it
gotta-
look a lot more dramatic.
That's right.
When the producer makes you angry, you slap
And
him.
when Philip was little and I would spank the dough, he didn't like that.
I thought you were hurting it.
It was way
It
too
was
familiar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Spank it at least 4 or 5 times.
Help that
Okay.
out.
Okay, put that on the
You
recipe.
can as much as you want.
Spank
And
dough.
what I will do
And
is
then this,
Put the lid on it.
lid on.
Now, does it have to be airtight? Because I remember Grandma had that one lid that she just put on it.
Yeah, I know.
It's not airtight, it's just
But
something to cover it.
I burp this because it's Tupperware. Okay, now I've got my oven warm. Turn it on. And this is just the right temperature to put this in.
so you want to make sure you don't burn your Tupperware.
Yeah.
Yeah, that because this here's a little bit.
Yeah, it's just barely warm.
It's just warm, but this here's hot. That's hot, so that's why I
Yeah.
put a cushion in there.
Yeah.
And about a half an hour, that will be ready to form
To work.
Zwieback.
Okay, so we take a break.
First of all, with that grease our
Prepare cookie sheets.
Use Crisco.
baking sheets. I use Crisco for this.
So the light over there,
And I'll do all of them right away, so.
That didn't do a whole heck of a lot, yeah.
But it,
Now, is a particular, like, brand of, I mean, a type of Crisco or just regular old Crisco?
I just. Crisco.
now, would non-stick pans work too, do you think?
Sure. Any
So the-
kind of pan you
so
want
the-
to use, so you can use that, or you can use, probably spray Pam on them. You know, anything to keep the.
It's just a
dry from
non-stick kind of thing.
Sticking to your
Okay, so,
pans. And this is what I have.
sure.
I have one stainless steel and the rest of them are aluminum.
So if you had a non-sticking, you wouldn't need to put Crisco down.
I would think not.
Just put some light
Another little
You
15
think I
watt.
need light?
here. No, we need to
watt
have it.
Supplemental.
It's for the camera.
Ooh, look, it's double.
It's doubled in size.
Look at that.
So I just take it, punch it down.
Oh, put it over here so we can see.
Nope.
Well, I have
I can
work
see
here.
it.
Oh, yeah.
I can see it.
Okay.
If you can't see it, that's not the problem.
That's it. Yes, it is.
Okay, and then I pinch off a bunch.
Pinch off a bunch.
So you don't want to punch it too much.
She's
Yeah, you just get all the air out of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just get it back to, and then I have a little piece because it's easier to work with than if you have a whole bunch. So you just form your little Zwieback, about that size. And you press it, pinch
And
it
that's
off.
the base.
Pinch it off.
So you're making the bottoms right now.
Yeah, I'm making
Okay,
bottoms
we're
now.
gonna have somebody help you practice on that when you get to next,
Well, if they'd like to.
yeah.
Next
Oh,
page.
no, that's
Put that dough
okay.
in my hand, I'll just eat it.
That's okay. We don't want to, like, hold up
Oh,
production
okay.
with novice ball making.
The tricky part is the top one.
The relative size, you mean?
I don't know.
And I try to make them so that I more or less have them uniform in size. Sometimes they're a little smaller, bigger, whatever.
That gives them character.
And you think about doubling this in size, almost. And
I was gonna say, how much
that
are
will
they
be
gonna-
the size of your Zwieback when you're
Okay.
finished.
Oh, bet
So you
snitched.
don't want to make them
Hey,
like this.
I was gonna say, how much do they,
You
yeah.
don't want to make the bottoms that big, because then the bottoms would be that big when you're,
Warren has experience with that.
it's a little bigger than the rest of it, that's right.
Now, I noticed that it still seems rather sticky, then that's okay?
Yeah, yeah. That's all right. If it's too sticky that's just really sticks to your fingers, I just put a little bit of, take a little bit of Crisco and rub it on my fingers. It helps. Too big. All right, now we're going to form the top. You want to make
Ooh.
those a little bit smaller than the other. Just put it on the top and press it down.
Grandma would take her finger and go,
Yes, you would
To
just
the
want to
top.
poke it.
that's the one that has a dimple in it.
I put them on like that initially. And then when I get the tops on, and I will go back and punch them once more.
Oh, it's starting to look like sweet.
They're so
Yeah.
cute.
the grandma would give us a whole Zwieback with dough.
dear.
No, that was the treat.
Yeah, I think we had a thing where one of us were distracted, and the other would snitch one. Like
You come
she
back,
wasn't gonna notice
you
that
come
one was-
back and then
like
and
one
want to
was-
put it in the oven and the Zwieback is missing, the whole thing. It's ready to bake and Zwieback's gone. I've discovered that.
Pilfer,
Is that you?
Pilferage.
There were some little people around that just came in themselves. Now, are we gonna make Zwieback out of all of this, or shall we make some cinnamon rolls too?
No, we're making Zwieback.
Oh, we gotta have one cinnamon roll. Bunch.
Can't do that.
This is a Zwieback
Well, this is, but there's a lot of dough left.
workshop.
That's true.
So this is the second-
Maximize our
Yeah, this is
yield.
second, and I just put my fingers in like that, and I just push down to keep the little tops on there when they rise.
Yeah, I've had
So they don't fall over.
Mhm.
It just sort of indents them into the thing. And
I see.
then what I'm do, I've got my oven. Warm. And I have 2 shelves in here. So I'm gonna put it in the warm oven.
So is this the same warmth that it was when you
Yeah,
were
I
letting it
just had-
rise?
I just had it on warm. Yeah,
Okay.
It's warm enough there. And then you can do the process.
And we just make some more.
I think they need to have some practice with it.
Well, I've done it before.
They don't want
Well,
to,
Becky's
so-
the one that's working at this, so she ought to try.
She's just,
I'm
One
taking
pan-
notes.
One pan for, I'll take notes for you. Squeeze and punch.
so it's very tactile.
So your oven's on warm?
Mm-hmm.
I had warmed it before.
I mean, it's just
I
in the
have
same
it
condition that it
off.
was
It's
when.
off,
Okay.
but I have a little, just helps to rise faster.
We should put the baked one right next to it.
And that I sort of keep an eye on it because you don't want the Zwieback to get too big. You have to allow a little time for the oven to get hot for baking.
So once
But
they're in
that's a
the,
place where I can.
so once they're in the oven, you leave them in there and then you just turn the oven on to baking
No, I
temperature?
take them off.
Oh, you do?
Take them off, take them out of the oven in order to get the oven to 425
Oh, okay,
degrees.
so you don't put them in there and let the oven
No, I
heat
don't.
up?
I take them back out when they're ready to, when they're just about ready to bake.
Can I feel the oven temperature, please?
It may have cooled off a little bit already. But it even helps if the racks are warm,
Oh, okay.
because that
Transfers the heat too.
transfers the heat to the pan.
Get some action shots.
Wonderful, that's great.
Well, I don't know. Show this to somebody. Think, oh, this is crazy.
This will be on YouTube.
Crazy.
The mouth expressions too, as they.
Well, I don't know if you
So maybe you have to hold,
every single
have to hold
Zwieback
your,
that she makes out of this
have to
batch.
hold your tongue just a certain way.
It can be cut out, so we're getting the multiple angles.
You get the right
one
facial
from the
expression?
top.
Oh, that's true. You gotta get the
You
angles.
have to hold
'cause
your
you edit
tongue.
it together.
You have to hold your tongue just right.
Oh, yeah.
That's
There you, oh,
So
right.
you gotta get the cook's expressions yet too, see?
See, when you edit, you need
So
multiple
when you
angles.
edit that, you can switch back and forth.
And when the dough is flying at the camera, make sure you get that shot too.
I just want the Zwieback.
I want a snitch a piece.
Snitch a piece.
Yeah, you get,
Uh-oh.
uh-oh.
You're missing the video of Warren snitching.
Ooh.
Look, the dough's gone.
If I have a little leftover dough, sometimes I like to make a sort of like a coffee cake. You put, roll it out and put it in the bottom of a pie tin and sprinkle sugar on it and some cream.
See, that's the added
Cream?
bonus to the
And then you just bake that?
filming here.
And then you bake that, and then you have a
So
little,
the spanking.
No, the
Side
search-
notes.
The side note, yeah.
The coffee cake note.
Or cinnamon roll. Or cinnamons are very good.
okay, this will go into the oven. No, I guess I didn't. Okay, these, in order to keep these so these will rise, what I do is I turn my highs on.
Oh,
for
so you
6
actually used
seconds.
the-
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So you actually heat the oven
well,
top.
There's no way to duplicate
I
that
heat
anywhere in
burners.
this house.
See, but you have to figure out other ways to get heat on the bottom of these.
Why do you keep coming back and turning the heat on?
Speaking
Or?
of summer, don't worry about it.
Well, she said the summer's not a problem.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No, see, in the winter, it's just too cold in here. It will not heat. So now we wait until, until
at
these
those.
are,
Oh, okay.
So again, it's what, twice the size, yeah?
There we go.
All right, ooh.
There's a,
So they look like they've increased in size just already.
you can touch them and see if they
yeah,
spring back a little bit.
yeah, because you don't want them to rise, because then they fall flat.
So there's a critical point.
Yeah.
Heat,
Between-
say, oh my
So we're looking at
God.
another 30 minutes?
Too much is too,
You're
then
gonna
it
have
gets,
so many notes that you.
I already have 3 pages.
It'll take all day to make
See,
these.
when we redo this, she's gonna narrate in on top of it.
oh, okay.
And then we're gonna put it up on YouTube so that all of us can keep looking at it over and over.
If they slide, you just don't worry about fixing them.
No, you don't want to fix them because that will flatten them. They'll just drop.
Once they're
This
there,
way they have some character.
each one has its
personality.
own
That's why
personality.
initially when you do that pop through the
Yeah,
middle.
see, that should have helped this one to stay on, and it just didn't, and this one didn't either, and that one got sort of, it decided
But
to
it's
do
very
its own
important
thing.
not to fix them.
That's right.
Just let them be.
Yeah,
Let them
because
be.
what would happen is, I can tell you on that one. Oh, let's
Okay.
see if these are brown
Let's
enough.
check and see.
Yes.
Oh, wait, now, we're taking them out after,
They've
10
been
minutes?
baking for 12 minutes or so, till they're nice and golden brown. And we will take them out. I'm gonna put the next tray
put the
in.
next tray in.
And you only do
And I
one
make
tray.
one tray at a time, sort of in the center of the oven. And then we put them on the cooling rack.
Cooling rack?
Just the metal wrap with
Cooling,
And she uses the paper towel to,
I just sort of,
if there's any absorption of,
yeah, because they do sweat, and then, because, well, one reason too is this is an old beat up refrigerator tray. I've used,
I like
and
the
it's
other
not the,
better.
You gotta get her a newer, not so beat up refrigerator tray to use.
you don't need to put that on YouTube.